Picture this. I come home after a long day, dust still clinging to my boots from the gravel road, and there, flapping in the evening breeze, is a piece of paper taped to my front gate like some kind of public shaming. Big, bold letters scream, "Final notice, immediate eviction." My heart stops for a second, not because I'm scared, but because I'm thinking, is this for real? This is my ranch, my 12 acres of open sky, 2 barns, a creek that runs clear from a spring up the hill, the place my dad left me, the place I poured my life into since I was 22, the place where my son learned to throw a rope under the big sycamore tree. And now some HOA, led by a woman named Carla who's been in town for maybe a year, thinks she can kick me off my own land because my fence isn't painted eggshell white? Oh, honey, she picked the wrong cowboy. Let me back up. My name's Jake, and I've lived on this patch of Texas dirt for over 20 years. It's not much to look at if you're into manicured lawns and cookie-cutter houses, but to me, it's home, quiet, wild mine. The house sits way back from the county road, hidden by a stand of cedars, and that's how I like it. Just me, my horses, and the stars at night. But over the years, the world crept closer. What used to be open range turned into a subdivision called Sunny Hills, rows of beige houses, each with a mailbox exactly 42 inches high. Because God forbid you have an inch of personality. I didn't care about their rules. I wasn't part of their HOA. My land's been in my family since my great-granddad bought it in '48. But then Carla showed up. Carla was the new HOA president, a transplant from somewhere up north with a planner full of color-coded tabs and a yappy little dog she carried like a purse. She'd walk around with a clipboard, sipping iced coffee, pointing at hedges that were half an inch too tall. To her, Sunny Hills was her personal kingdom, and my ranch, well, it was the one blemish on her perfect vision. Too rustic, too real. My barns were unsightly, my gravel drive was non-compliant, and don't even get her started on my horses. Apparently, they were disruptive to the community vibe. I got my first hint of trouble when a letter showed up in my mailbox. Not even a knock, just a typed note saying my hay bales were a visual nuisance. A visual nuisance. I laughed it off, tossed it in the drawer, figured it was a one-off. But Carla wasn't playing. The letters kept coming faster, meaner. My truck parked in my own driveway? Too many vehicles. My split-rail fence? Wrong height. My wildflower patch? The one my mom planted before she passed? Not an approved native species. They fined me $800 for that one. I'm not in the HOA, mind you. My land's deeded, paid off, mine. But Carla didn't care. She was on a mission to make Sunny Hills look like a magazine cover, and I was the smudge she couldn't erase. I tried to be neighborly. I really did. I left a voicemail, invited her over for sweet tea, said, "Hey, let's talk this out." She never called back. Instead, she sent code enforcement to my gate. 3 citations in 4 days, boom, boom, boom. Then, the eviction notice, taped to my gate like a scarlet letter. I stood there that evening, the paper crinkling in my hand, wind kicking up dust around my boots, and I felt something shift inside me. Not anger, not yet, just this quiet, cold clarity. Carla thought she could bully me off my own land. She thought I'd roll over. What she didn't know was I had an ace up my sleeve. See, years ago, when Sunny Hills was just a developer's dream, I leased a corner of my land to them for their fancy HOA clubhouse and its parking lot. A favor, really, $1 a year, because I figured a community space was good for everybody. But that land? Still mine. Zone commercial, with a lease agreement that let me change the terms if they messed with me. And oh, Carla was about to find out just how much she'd messed with me. The next week was a circus. HOA folks started showing up at my fence line. Guys in polo shirts with tape measures, snapping pictures like they were auditioning for a spy movie. One of them was Mitch, a guy who'd borrowed my tractor a few years back for his kid's birthday party. Now here he was, measuring my gate posts, avoiding eye contact. "Just doing my job, Jake," he mumbled. I nodded, said, "Sure, Mitch." "Tell Carla I said hi." They flagged my mailbox next, hand-built cedar, carved with my dad's initials. Non-standard, they called it. Then my trash stopped getting picked up. Turns out, the HOA controlled the waste service and accidentally dropped me from the route. They fined me another $500 for improper waste storage when the cans piled up. And the cherry on top? A big OL banner tied to my gate one morning, showing a digital rendering of a McMansion where my barn stood, with Sunny Hills, a vision for tomorrow in shiny letters. That's when I knew this wasn't just Carla being picky. This was war. I called my lawyer, Sarah, who's been handling my family's stuff since I was a kid. She dug into the HOA's claim and came back laughing. Jake, they're saying your land got reassigned to their jurisdiction after a county map error. It's nonsense. Your deed's ironclad. But here's the fun part, that clubhouse lease? You can rewrite it any time they try to mess with your property. And you can terminate it with 30 days notice. I leaned back in my chair, grinning. Sarah, let's rewrite it. So I sent Carla a certified letter, nice and formal, addressed to President Carla, Sunny Hills HOA. Effective immediately, their clubhouse rent was $5,000 a month. Parking? $10 per car per day, including their volunteer vans. Oh, and due to breach of goodwill, I was terminating the lease in 30 days. They thought I was bluffing until I put up signs. Big ones. Private parking, pay at kiosk. I hired a local security outfit to enforce it, complete with tickets and wheel boots. That same week, I blocked their overflow lot with a row of hay bales and, just for kicks, let my 2 goats, Rusty and Pearl, graze out there. The looks on those HOA faces, priceless. Carla called me the next day, her voice all syrup and steel. Jake, this is ridiculous. You can't charge us for our own parking lot. I let her talk, then said, Carla, it's not your lot. It's mine. Check your lease. She hung up. The board sent another member, some guy named Greg, to reason with me. He stood on my porch, sweating through his collared shirt, saying, Look, Jake, we can work this out. Drop the fees, we'll drop the fines. I leaned against the doorframe, sipping my coffee. Greg, I'll drop the fees when you drop every complaint, send me a written apology, and get Carla off the board. He blinked, stammered, left. They didn't take the deal. Things got spicy from there. Their next board meeting was a disaster. No overflow parking, cars lined up on the street. My security guys handing out 15 tickets before lunch. Neighbors started whispering. A few who'd stayed quiet before showed up at my gate with homemade jam, saying, Jake, we're with you. Carla's gone too far. One lady, Mrs. Thompson, told me Carla had been bad-mouthing me at book club, calling my ranch a blight. That lit a fire in me. I wasn't just fighting for my land anymore. This was personal. The real showdown came at their big spring gala, where they were set to unveil their new motto, Sunny Hills, Unity and Perfection. I'd been planning for this. The night before, I changed the locks on the clubhouse. Midnight, bolt cutters, done. By morning, the parking lot was a maze of orange cones, with Rusty and Pearl munching grass in the fire lane. Carla showed up at 9 a.m., all dolled up in a sundress and heels, clutching her clipboard like a lifeline. She saw the locked doors and lost it. Jake, this is sabotage. Open this door right now. I stepped out from the shade of my truck, holding the lease termination letter. Carla, it's not sabotage. It's my property. You're trespassing. Her face went from red to purple. She tried to shove past me. Big mistake. My security guy, Big Tom, stepped in, all 6 feet 4 inches of him, and said, Ma'am, you need to step back. The gala guests were milling around, confused, sipping mimosas in the street. Then Sheriff Boone pulled up. Boone's known my family forever, used to fish with my dad at the creek. He climbed out of his cruiser, hat tipped low, and said, Everything all right here, Jake? Carla started ranting. Legal jargon, threats, the works. Boone just held up a hand, pulled a copy of my lease from his pocket, and said, Ma'am, this man owns this land, this clubhouse, and every inch of this lot. You got a problem, take it up with the county. The crowd went quiet. Carla froze, her clipboard shaking in her hands. Then some kid in the back yelled, Guess you're the one getting evicted, lady. A few folks laughed. I didn't. I just tipped my hat, turned, and walked back to my porch. The screen door creaking shut behind me. The dust settled slow. Carla quit the HOA a week later, packed up her dog and her clipboard, moved back north, I heard. The board dropped all their claims. Sent me an apology letter, stiff, but I framed it anyway. They pay the full $5,000 a month now, on time, no complaints. The clubhouse sign got a makeover too, Sunny Hills Hall. Courtesy of Cedar Creek Ranch. Rusty and Pearl are still out there, unofficial mascots. The neighbors love M. One's even named Carla now, because why not? Looking back, I didn't want to fight. I just wanted to live my life, same as always. But sometimes, Peace means drawing a line in the dirt and daring folks to cross it. Carla crossed it. And she learned what happens when you try to bully someone off land that's in their blood. If you're dealing with an HOA or anybody else trying to push you around, know your rights. Check your paperwork, and don't be afraid to push back. It's your dirt, your home, your story. So, what would you have done? Would you have played nice, tried to talk it out longer? Or gone full cowboy like I did? Drop a comment, tell me your take, justice served, or did I go too far? And if you've got your own story about standing up to a bully, HOA or otherwise, I want to hear it. Hit that like button, share this with someone who needs a little fight in him, and let's keep the conversation going. Because out here, not every fence is meant to be crossed.